I'm James Swanwick. Welcome to the Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Hi, everyone. This is Victoria English, head coach at Alcohol Free Lifestyle. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. I just can't believe it. I feel like we were just ringing in 2023. So today we're going to talk about this trendy thing called Dry January. The good, the bad, everything in between. So keep listening. Whether you are killing it with Dry January, whether you have already slipped, or if you are obsessed with the idea of having a drink, we're here for you. We support you. So it's mid-January now. If you have not been drinking, or even if you've cut back a lot, chances are you're going to have some benefits. Obviously, the benefits will increase if you don't have any alcohol. What are some of those possible benefits? I say possible because I like to empower people to manage their expectations. This is not a game of comparison. There are lots of factors that go into each of these. But sooner or later, these are things that you very likely will experience. Better sleep. Alcohol is a depressant and a stimulant. It wakes us up at the beginning of a party, then it helps us fall asleep. Our quality of sleep is very poor when we are drinking. That's why we wake up at 3 a.m. Cortisol, adrenaline, all that stuff. So by now, mid-January, you've had enough time to get this stuff out of your system. You might be sleeping better. Here's a good thing: no hangovers. You know, for people who truly struggle with alcohol, we become almost immune to the misery of hangovers. We have them so often that we sort of forget what it is to wake up with a clear mind, bright eyes, rested. So that is a big plus, not to mention, of course, the mental gymnastics that come along with waking up in that condition. So if you can't find anything great about Dry January, I think that's an indisputable win. You may still have cravings. Pardon me. It's been very, very cold here. My throat is dry. You may have cravings. They might be better than they were in the beginning, or they might not. That's the tricky part. Regardless, again, because it is a personal thing, every body and everybody is different. Regardless of where you are, it's going to get better. That's a big message, is that wherever you are during Dry January, it will get better. You might be experiencing an improved mood. That's for lots of things, right? We're not pouring a highly addictive drug into our system. We are feeling more rested. Maybe we're making healthier food choices, not experiencing the drunchies, as I call them, the drunk munchies, which no one wants a nice healthy salad, the greasy stuff. So maybe you're fueling your body in a better way. And so you might have a better mood. You're also somewhat becoming more stable with your dopamine, serotonin, GABA, all those feel-good things in the brain. They're starting to come back into a normal rhythm. If you guys have listened to several of our podcasts, you have some understanding of what alcohol does to our neurotransmitters. And so you might have a better mood. You also might have more focus, more productivity. Your prefrontal cortex, the decision making, the critical thinking, the smart part of our brain is also coming back online. So you may find yourself experiencing more productivity. Your skin probably looks better. Now, sometimes people will have little breakouts and everything. It's just part of releasing these toxins. But in Project 90, people, I don't like to use the word always. I think it's too absolute for most things, but people always get better looking in our program. Their skin brightens, their eyes are clear, a lot of the bloat is gone. And here's a big one, you may be experiencing weight loss. You also may not. This is a very personal thing. But I can tell you that the inflammation is being reduced. And that alone can lead to some weight loss simply through water retention, bloating, inflammation. And how about your joints? If you are of a certain age, you might notice you feel less creaky in the mornings. So, how do I feel about dry January? Well, I feel different ways depending on different situations. I used to do dry January, and I would get through it. Here's what was going through my mind. Well, first of all, I had no support. I was just doing it. I would limit my activities. I wouldn't really go out. I wouldn't really do anything. And I would just be really looking forward to February 1st so that I could go back to drinking. But there was a lot going on because these were the early days when I was wondering, do I have a problem with alcohol? Does that sound familiar to you? I get it. You may be seeking internal and external validation by doing dry January. You might be trying to prove to yourself that you're fine, that you can take it or leave it. You may want to prove to your family that you can take it or leave it. The question is, are you living the life that you really want, or are you simply removing anything that has to do with alcohol? Is that what you want for your long-term life? It's up to you. I can tell you in our coaching program, we work a lot around that. However, if you're just doing this for 30 days with no intention of continuing, well, you do you. If you're doing this for fun, if you're one of those take it or leave it type of drinkers, okay, this is great. This is kind of like a nice little reboot, right? I'm not going to drink. I'm going to save those calories, probably eat a little healthier, get to the gym more often. That's great that you are a take it or leave it kind of drinker. And I hope it stays that way for you. It's hard to know. But, let's say a take it or leave it kind of person breaks dry January. They're just like, you know what? I'm fine. Well, that's their personal decision. There might not be any real consequences, right? Other than maybe a bruised ego saying, I caved. I had the wine. I had the beer, football playoffs and all, right? I've heard all the things. I used to say all the things. So again, I don't really have any opinion on it. It's totally up to you. I would ask you, though, why did you go back to it? You see, not drinking is more than just putting away this highly addictive, toxic drug. It's also about getting curious around what we love to do. What does fun look like? Does fun have to include alcohol? So if you did cave, and it's not such a big deal, I invite you to ask yourself why. What was it about that particular day or situation that you really thought would be made better by drinking and going back on a commitment? Just curious. Now, back to those of us who do struggle.
Hi, this is James Swanwick, and we're taking applications for our 90-day and 365-day stop drinking programs. Clients are mostly executives, entrepreneurs, and investors who have tried unsuccessfully and repeatedly to stop drinking, but remain stuck in a frustrating cycle of stop, start, stop, start. Our programs are not AA, which has a reported 7% success rate. Our programs are not rehab, which has a reported 6% success rate. Our 90-day and 1-year programs involve a safe, fun, virtual community of high achievers with a process that boasts a scientifically proven 98% success rate of clients reaching at least 90 consecutive days alcohol-free. That's according to the University of Washington. We use the latest neuroscience and personal development processes to help rewire clients' brains around alcohol and minimize its importance in their lives. We will show you how to powerfully socialize with friends, family, and colleagues, what to say and how to say it so people don't mistakenly think you're an alcoholic or have a problem, and how to eliminate the temptation of returning to constant drinking so you break the stop-start cycle. To ensure client success, Project 90 can only accept 24 new clients each month. Some of those happy clients include John Keltner from California, who said, "I've lost 10 pounds." Susie Vaughn, a real estate broker in Tennessee, who said, "I've generated 20% more leads." Jessica Gaines from Kentucky, who says, "I've now got joy, focus, presence, and clarity." And Joe Worley from Michigan, who says, "My wife has the real Joe back." If you're an executive, entrepreneur, investor, real estate professional, attorney, doctor, and you're sick of the stop-start cycle and the damaging effects alcohol has on your health, happiness, and family, and you're ready to regain confidence, become more present with your spouse and children, reduce stress, anxiety, and irritability, sleep better, increase focus and productivity, and feel better quickly, you're invited to apply to become one of our 24 monthly Project 90 clients. Applicants can apply for an introductory interview by visiting alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. There's also a link in this episode's show notes. That's alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. Application interviews are limited and are conducted on a first-come, first-served basis. Okay, let's get back to the show.
There's two sides to this, right? Either you have already gone back to drinking. You are not alone. You are not alone. Statistically, many, many people break, often within 7 days, typically on the first Friday. And do you know it's right around day 15 that the people who are going to break? Is that because they're weak? Is that because they just don't care about themselves or their family? It might feel that way. You might be beating the heck out of yourself right now. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I'm such a loser. I couldn't even do a month. You may be getting the side eye from your family. Like, really? We thought you were doing a month. You might be hiding it from your family. You might be telling them that you are still engaging in dry January. Boy, that doesn't feel very good, does it? Here's the thing, and this is something, again, also that we work a lot on in Project 90. That's not who you are. The person who is the story that you are telling yourself about yourself is not true. You're not a loser. Hiding it from your family, that's shame, embarrassment. Lying that you're still doing it, again, shame, embarrassment. Being out of integrity, that's not really who you are. That is who alcohol tells us we are. You've heard me say it before. It's not you, it's the booze. It's not you, it's the booze. If you are really struggling or you've already gone back to drinking mid-January, this is not because you're a weak person. Alcohol use disorder, which I cannot diagnose because I'm not a medical professional, but you can look up the signs of it, do a little self-assessment. Alcohol use disorder is a very broad spectrum. And if you've gone back to drinking, I invite you to take a look at that. Alcohol use disorder, not a permanent condition, unless you go back to drinking. You have the power to change this. And if you feel stuck in it, I understand, because I did too. Those dry Januaries got longer and longer and harder and harder. And eventually I started to break them. That is not a reflection on me. That's indicative of how alcohol use disorder progresses. So here's the thing for those of you who have gone back. If you tell yourself, I'll pick this up again in March, I'll pick it up again during Lent, do you think it's going to be easier then? Or will it be harder? Will you make it as far as you did this time? Or will it be fewer days? How will you feel on the other side of that? Here's the truth, guys. If you could do it, you would. If you could do it on your own, you would. This is not a surrender. This is not admitting defeat. This is a chance to regain your power, to see this drug for what it is. I mean, just for a second, let's look at society, right? Dry January, because it's assumed that everyone overindulged during the holidays. What if they did that with cocaine? Okay, snortless January. What? Madness, right? Because everyone knows that cocaine is highly addictive, that it gets worse with time. And can you imagine a national movement? No snorting in January. No, of course not. Except alcohol kills more people than cocaine. Ruins more families. Causes more accidents, more hospital visits. And yet, we dress it up and make it sound so cute. And again, for some of you it is. It's like a little reboot. It's like me taking a break from sugar and just saying, I'm not going to eat sugar foods. I don't eat a lot of those anyway, and I've always had I've always been lucky because I can take it or leave it. With a cookie, I can take it. It's good. I don't feel compelled to have more and more. People who can't stop at one cookie would look at me and say, how do you only have one? And I'm like, it's good, but that's enough. Meanwhile, I'm looking at them with their one glass of wine and saying the same thing. How do you just have one? So if you're one of those, dress it up, make it cute. If you're the type of person and you know who you are, this isn't cute because you're taking this as a personal statement about who you are. Your character was demonstrated when you gave this a try. And what's the next thing? Are you going to try again in February? Oh, I can't do that. It's Valentine's Day. It's like I'm walking around inside your brain, isn't it? How about March? Oh, well, St. Patty's. April is, Lent. And even if you don't observe Lent, it's kind of a camaraderie time that people take a little break from things. They give up, they sacrifice. I don't look at not drinking as a sacrifice at all anymore. It's a joy to not drink. I don't miss it. So what happens next? Are you going to wait until April? What kind of suffering will you and those people you care about go through between now and then? It's a pretty big question. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to suffer more, to allow the ones who love you to suffer more until it gets to a good time to take another break when you haven't made it this time? I encourage you to be really, really honest in your answer with that. If you're scared, I understand. If, quote, failing dry January has got you in your feelings and you're really down on things, I understand. But you're gathering information. And just like you do in other parts of your life, you can use the information you have gathered to make an informed decision. If you've not been able to do it on your own, it's unlikely that you will. If you didn't make it 30 days this time, it's unlikely that you will. And again, it's not you, it's the drug. And if you wait, inevitably there will be suffering. Maybe you don't care about yourself enough yet, but I know there are people that you do care about. We have an amazing community. Very, very qualified coaches. Yeah, I'm humble bragging a little bit because this is our passion. To become very, very educated and skilled to help you. And the people that join us have been right where you are. And they made the change. And so they don't even have to think about dry January. It's a given. They're doing it together. You can book that call. You hear us talk about it. 15-minute free discovery call with one of our coaches. Just have a conversation. If nothing comes of it, at least you can say you had the conversation and you're gathering more info. But what if it is a fit? Imagine April not having to put giving up drinking on your sacrifice list, your giving up list. What if instead this April you're leaning into gratitude, or you commit to a healthy hobby? Buy yourself a bike and commit to riding it. What a thought. What a concept. I hope we get to chat with you soon. Thanks for listening. Happy January. Stay warm out there. I'll chat to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening. For more content like this, you can check out our YouTube channel at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube. You can follow me and send me a direct message on Instagram and TikTok at James Swanwick. And you can see the results of our scientific study at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/study. If you'd like to apply to become a Stop Drinking client, you can visit alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. I wrote a book called The 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge, which you can find on Amazon. And you can always email me directly at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. If you're a regular listener of the show, would you please do me a big favor and give the show a rating and a review? It helps us get more listeners, and you'll be potentially helping someone else out there who's struggling with alcohol to find us, to listen to us, and get support. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.